People always ask me the same question. How do you practice so many languages every day without burning out? But the truth is that I do not practice all the languages I know every day in the way people imagine. I don't just sit down with 8 different textbooks for 1 hour each, and I don't do 10 different boring grammar review sessions, and I definitely don't force myself to feel motivated. What I do is much simpler and even much more realistic. The biggest reason people tend to burn out regarding languages is not a lack of discipline, it's that their languages stay theoretical for too long. You can read, you can study, you can even understand, but you don't actually use the language with real people. So, over the years, I personally built my entire language learning routine around one non-negotiable rule. Every day, at least one language has to be used with a real human being through a real human interaction. That rule alone removes a lot of frustration because it reminds you why you're learning that language in the first place. Learning a language isn't in fact about how many books you've finished. It's more about the interactions you have with someone who knows that language quite well and is eager to guide you through the entire learning process. And this rule is the only way to break out of this silent learner trap, let's say. And this is also why this video is sponsored by italki, which is a platform I generally use as a part of this system. italki is an online language learning platform where you can book personalized one-on-one lessons with native speaking teachers. As you can see here, you can choose from a really wide range of languages. There is basically every language on the planet here, and there are also plenty of amazing teachers. As you can see, these are only teachers for French, but there's more and more basically. And you can basically, see their profiles, prices, and also availability before booking the actual lesson. For example, this is my French teacher's profile. And as you can see here, there is no kind of subscription. You simply pay here per lesson, which also makes it very easy to fit into real life without adding any kind of pressure, let's say. Let me give you a concrete example with French. French is a language that I don't want just to understand. I want to sound more natural, feel more comfortable, and even I want to keep having this kind of emotional connection with it. So instead of doing boring grammar exercises, I book tailored, speaking-focused lessons on italki with native French teachers. I don't go into lessons unprepared, but I also don't over-prepare. I usually just bring one very specific problem I have. It has to be something concrete like, sounding too direct or hesitating too much, choosing the wrong register, or even not knowing how to disagree politely with somebody. Tu
viens de dire... Donc si jamais tu dois utiliser le verbe se fier, il faut que tu se fies à quelque chose. Donc je me fie à la justice, je me fie à l'autorité, je me fie à l'intelligence artificielle.
Oui, donc since it's a real conversation, I get immediate feedback on, how I actually sound like while speaking, and not only whether the sentences I say are grammatically correct. And this improves both listening and speaking through real conversations in everyday scenarios while giving me a real-time guidance and keeping me immersed in the language and culture without having to necessarily leave or move abroad, just sitting, here in my armchair. Even one conversation like this per week is often good enough to stop a language from fading. And 2026 is here, so if your New Year resolution is to learn a new language or maybe to maintain one you already speak, just click the link in the description to start your language learning journey now. And if you buy $10, you will get $5 additional for free by using my exclusive promo code Classicist. The discounts are only available though for the first 50 users, so you'd better hurry up. Let me show you what a real day of language practice actually looks like for me. On an average day, I guess I would spend anywhere between 2 minutes and 1 hour total on languages. Not per language, but total. The first thing I do is divide my languages into 3 different groups. The first group is active languages, which are the languages I actively speak or write in. I usually choose 1 active language per day, sometimes 2 at most, but mostly 1. And for example, if today my active language is French, that means one clear thing, that I will produce somehow French, whether that's through a 20 to 30 minute italki lesson, a conversation with a friend, even recording myself speaking, or writing a short text and then reading it out loud. And once I've done that, French is done for the day, with no guilt or no extra tasks. And the second group is maintenance languages, which are languages I already know fairly well and I don't want to lose. In my case, those would be, for example, Russian and Portuguese. And for these languages, I do very basic and light activities, such as reading a few pages or watching some short YouTube videos, listening to some kind of podcast in that language, or even, scrolling social media in that language. I guess that it usually takes 5 to 15 minutes to complete, and I don't do all maintenance languages every day. In fact, I rotate them. And the third group is background languages, which are languages that simply exist in my life. For me, those would be Italian, English, and probably Latin as well, I guess. And yeah, basically, I don't study them, I don't plan them, I just let them appear in my life through thinking in them, mentally translating, or even noticing words when I casually hear them, and all of that counts without costing me any energy. This simple structure is the reason I don't burn out, because I'm not asking every language to perform every day. Another very practical rule I follow is that energy comes before method. So if I'm tired, I don't open the grammar book. If I don't feel like reading, I listen. And if I don't feel like producing, I switch to exposure. 5 minutes still count. 1 paragraph still counts, and consistency doesn't necessarily mean intensity. I also plan languages weekly and not daily, and at the beginning of the week I decide which one gets speaking time, which ones get maintenance, and which ones can rest completely. And that single decision removes an enormous amount of daily stress because I'm not renegotiating my goals every single day. This is also why tools like italki fit so well into my routine, because of its flexibility on the lessons. Basically, I can use it strategically when I want depth, clarity, and real interaction with human beings without having to plan everything myself. It can just fit so perfectly with my schedule, and also one single conversation can replace hours of unfocused study. So no, I don't practice all the languages I know every day by grinding harder. I actually do it by lowering the bar, rotating focus, and especially, choosing methods that actually respect my energy and my life. If you want to try this system yourself, start by asking yourself one simple question. Which language actually deserves your energy this week? That answer changes everything.